Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. It is WREXtra time. We have just finished our match versus QPR, Queen's Park Rangers, and we took all 3 points at the last, right at the last. And you know what? I should be happy because we are in sixth place. We are sitting in the playoffs for the first time this season at the end of a match. But I'm not that happy. I'm sorry, but I'm not. But we are not going to talk about that just yet because we have some good things to talk about. But when we do talk about that, I have a special little button. Watch this. Beep. We're going to talk about it. I have never been against Parky at all, but I think the tide is starting to turn and I am not happy with him tonight. But before we go there, let's go to some of the positive stuff. So, guys, this is WREXtra time. It's about your show. Come in and save me from spiraling down a hill if you disagree with me. And here we go. So we are back, ladies and gentlemen. And first things first, I'm going to show it. Let's have a look. Boom! Coventry City in first with 58 points. Middlesbrough second, 56 or 5. I can't see. I need to get glasses. 55. Ipswich third with 50. Hull City fourth with 50 points. Millwall fifth with 49 points. And then little old Wrexham in sixth place with 44 points. And then below us, we have 5 teams within 2 points. It is tight squeezing into this playoffs. However, if anybody doesn't know, our next match is against Sheffield Wednesday. And you know what? I'm going to say it. We're going to beat Sheffield Wednesday and take an easy 3 points. And look, for anyone who doesn't want me to say that, so be it. They are the worst team in the league. And if we don't manage to pull 3 points out of that, then I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. So first up, after looking at that nice little start here, guys, I'm going to put out the link for people to join in. And until I put up my little explicit content, notice, we won't be talking about Parky. We won't be talking about anything that Parky is doing at the moment. And I will save that for later in the show. So let me get the link and put it straight out there, guys. I'm sure you have lots to talk about tonight. Tonight should be a fun show. I would like lots of people in. So, guys, in the chat is the StreamYard code. That is for the link to the show. If you click on it, you can come into the background and I will bring you in as soon as I can. But we have lots of comments. The chat is chatting again, as usual. We have over 110 people already in the show, and I brought it back 15 minutes early. So 3 minutes into the show, we have a lot of people here. So I'm just going to say hello to everybody for 2 minutes because I still need to calm down. The end of that match was absolutely wild. Wild, wild, wild. We have our first caller. James Lee is in the back. I see you there, buddy. I'm just trying to chill out here for a minute. I'll bring you in shortly. And guys, queue up. Lots of people tonight. Everybody in on the show. So first up, let's take this down and say hello. Andrew C is in the house. Davicus is here. Psych Soccer. Haven't seen you before. Welcome. Well, that was nuts. We'll take it. Some things to figure out, though. I agree with that. Brian Cheng is here. I already said Davicus, but what a great finish. Hamster for the win. We have a couple of different hamsters now. This is getting confusing, guys. This is getting confusing. Okay, we have number 2 in the background. Root, my lucky kit is still lucky. Love the win. Okay, did anybody hear in the commentary? They were talking about wearing the red kit and how the red kit wouldn't clash. So why weren't we wearing it? Okay, I am completely against this. I don't care if you want to call it a second kit and if you want to call it a third kit. I am forever going to call them our away kits. We have one home kit. We have 2 away kits. And we should wear them when we are away. I do not care what anyone says. If you disagree with me, jump on the show. Give me your opinion. I will tell you you're wrong. But then it's up to the chat to agree or disagree with your point. You will not convince me that we should be wearing our red kits when we are away. That is a hill I'm going to die on. Okay, Nick Donlan is in trouble with his family. My whole family thinks I'm a nutcracker after that one. Cursing, yelling in anger, cursing, yelling in joy, laughter, the full gambit. Yeah, I was trying to keep calm, actually. My wife was actually asleep on the couch beside me. Dvorak. Ollie. He's the biggest little guy in the EFL. Yes. Doc Wrexham. Yes, that was a barn burner. Reliable Express is in the house. That's crazy, Ruth and Ty. Sorry about your loss, though. Ruth was at a funeral. Sorry about that. Okay. More comments. I'm going to try and get through them. Mad Al is in the house. I dare anyone to put those goals in order of greatness without causing an argument. Ali F. and Ratbone, says Dave Pikey. Carl Davies. What a win. Never doubted. Of course you didn't, Carl. Of course you didn't. We all believe you. Yeah, liar. Reliable Express. Didn't realize those above us had that many points. Those last 2 games really separated us. Yes, there is a bit of a break from 6th now going up ahead, but that's not invincible. They will hit some hard matches as well. And if we continue to play well, we can push up through those playoffs. But first things first is to separate ourselves from those behind us who want to steal that spot back. Andrew C is saying we should wear the yellow kit on every match. Yeah. Sean Deasy, I like this one. Holy shit balls. Crawford in the house. We stole this win. Wasn't good coaching. Was good luck. And that was all before I even started. Look, guys, I haven't even got to the point we started the actual stream. That was me telling everybody I'll be with you in a minute. Good luck. It was a good watch. Lots of new names in the house tonight. Ali, emotional roller coaster. Josh Windass goal celebration. Yeah, he just said, guys, go get another goal. Come on. No celebrating that draw. Bad first half, nailed the second. I agree with that. Absolutely. Someone's hitting Kabore. Sean Deasy, 0 successful crossovers. Kabore not gelling. Okay. We can talk about Kabore. Windows equals sign badass. Okay. Okay, I can't catch up, so I'm just going to skip it, guys. Wow, there is a lot of chats. We are now at 150 people already. Okay, so we're going to start bringing people in. We do have a couple of people in the background, so we are going to fly through it, and I'm going to put the link out again, guys. Can we set a record for most people on the show tonight? Because tonight would be a fun one. Okay, James Lee. Hello, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good. 3 points is 3 points, but there's that's pulling a rabbit out of our ass.
First in, best dressed. Okay, first up, yes, we did a spectacular finish on that one. That was nuts. Absolutely.
A robbery worthy of Robin Hood.
Yeah, look, I agree with that. Now I will say it's not like we've never done it before. We just haven't done it recently. It's been quite a while.
It's been a while.
And these are situations where we've been dropping points because we've been winning first. I was thinking about it before tonight's match, all right? And last season, it was a lot of coming from behind to get our points, where we would go down, but then we'd come back late, score late goals, late headers, stuff like that. And now this season, it's different. We're actually getting ahead and then dropping the points. So ultimately, does it make a difference? Do we care? Like last season versus this season, does it make a difference? I think it does.
I think the last minutes. Never mind. I'm trying not to criticize Parky, but there's some
No,
changes
no.
but just too defensive from the beginning. Like we should have been a lot more aggressive. Once we saw how aggressive they were going to be with us as far as man marking and pressing, like Parky should have been communicating to Matty James or somebody, hey, like we need to hop on the good foot and do the bad thing and put pressure on them.
Yeah. One thing I will say is I don't have as much issue with that. That's not my issues at all, really. You know, what I did see with them starting to dominate in this first half was the speed. They were playing secondary players, and very often they're young, they're fit, they haven't been playing, they've been rested, and they were quick on the ball. They were quick to the loose balls, and that hurts us quite a bit. Actually, teams like that have the chance to hurt us.
The pressing and tight man marking is QPR style. They did it to us in the first match of the year. I know people get tired of me saying this, but they did it against West Ham in the FA Cup match, and then they did it again today. That's how they play defense. That's why their defense is seemingly so good, is because they don't allow a lot of pressure on their back line.
Okay. Right. Do you have any other specific thing you want to say before I put you in the background? You can stay and we can come back later. I just want to talk to everybody.
As far as Kabori, I think everybody needs to lighten up a little bit, especially Josh. Every time he gets the ball, he gets at least two-man marked, if not three, because he is the only player we have in the squad currently that has any semblance of pace. The rest of the first half, that whole first half, it looked like everybody but Issei was running in mud.
Okay. Right. James, you can stay in the back and I'll pull you back in a little bit later, okay? I just want to get through everybody. 2 minutes. Take care. Next up is Esteban. Esteban, how are you doing?
How's it going?
Good. What do you want to talk about?
First thing I want to say, holy freaking Rathbone. Yeah, hamster style, baby. You knew I was going to come in and say that.
Of course. Yeah.
But I agree with James. I think that the press and the aggressive style has served us well, and it's about damn time that Parky pays attention and stops playing so defensively and grow a set and let them play aggressive, because that has served us well. It served us really well through the festive period. We've held back the last couple of matches, and then the moment they got aggressive at the end, that's when all hell broke loose. And look at what happened. Seriously, Parky needs to let them play aggressive.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier before the match started as to how the front three are going to play. Are they going to play kind of a flat three or a 2-1? Will they sit deeper or whatever? In that first half, it was quite noticeable for good chunks of it that Moore was being left on his own up the front. And he was constantly shouting at everybody, get into the press. We need to. And as soon as we started to get that moving, it started to work. It started to upset them. When they were playing out from the back, they were knocking the balls out over the sidelines. Same with their keeper. He wasn't getting time on the ball. He wasn't giving good service. He wasn't getting the balls out clean once we started to press them. And absolutely, that is what started to hurt them. And we were taking control slowly back once we survived that first half, especially. After that, it started to work.
Yeah, I agree. I have a thought on Kabore that I'd like to share. I don't think Kabore should have gone to AFCON. I know it's an honor to represent his country, but look, the man was hurt. He should have stayed with it. He should have stayed behind and grown with the team. I think there was a growth in confidence that happened during that festive period that he wasn't part of, and now he's kind of the outsider. He's kind of the outside man, and he's. I don't want to use the G word, but he's just a step behind where everybody else had grown. And you saw it today. They weren't even going to him very much. It's almost like he wasn't there at times. And it's sad to see because he wants to be involved, but he just, I don't know. There was a magic that happened with the team during the festive period that he just wasn't a part of. And I think they should have allowed him to stay with the team, so that he could have been part of that. So that's my thought on that. And lastly, I'm curious to hear everybody's thought on what the hell happened at the end with Parky, and why he was out there yelling at everybody, clearly not looking happy with the result. Well, clearly not looking happy with the performance, but I don't know. I want to know what everybody thinks about what's going on with Parky.
Yeah, interesting. Just on the Kabore there, one thing I will say for him is he did look a bit off it. He was acting a bit of a baby, actually. With the ref was horrendous, but he was not happy about anything that was going on during today's match. So I didn't like that from him today. And yes, the team did stop playing with him. So we'll discuss Kabore a little bit later as well. And I don't know that we're going to have him after this summer. Is there even an outside possibility that he might be going back to City or going somewhere else? Who knows? But thanks for that, Esteban. If you want to sit in the back for a while, we'll bring you back in a little bit.
I've got to go feed the kitties. But thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for letting me in, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah, take care.
See ya. Okay, guys, we're getting lots more visitors here. We still have 3 in the background waiting to come on. William Miller, I see you there, buddy. I'll get you in shortly, okay? So we'll get you there soon. Actually, Anand, you're not in a rush, are you? Can I switch you out for William? Can you hang on a minute? Good man. Okay. Hello.
Welcome. Hi, how you doing?
Good. I pulled you in there because I know you would probably.
I can't hear you, but we had a hell of a watch party here. I did want to say a couple things. I don't know if you noticed that when Kabore starts running forward, he gets double teamed every time.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, he very often.
And another thing, everybody starts talking about the coaching and all that stuff. I agree with the hold, when we stop. That's all coaching. But I got to say, when that team went into halftime, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall because he lit a match under their ass. They came out firing, and that's coaching. He went in there and he probably chewed their ass like you wouldn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody gets on Parky about stuff like that, but I tell you what, he fires them up at half, and they came out, and you saw what they did. The header, unfortunate, but we came back with 2 more. He brought the right people on. So, yeah, it's the players out there, but he made the decisions. He lit a fire under them. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. What a game. Ollie Rathbone, are you kidding me? Rathbone? You gotta love that guy.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, I didn't hear you, but okay. I can't even hear what you're saying, so I'll go ahead and leave you. You have a great day. Go Wrexham!
Well done. Good comments. I like it. Take care. Okay. That was great. I know he couldn't hear me, but some very, very good comments there from William. And he obviously enjoyed his watch party. So, Anand, hello again. How are you doing?
Doing great. I think this was probably my best Wrexham game to watch.
Okay.
I used up the whole house to run around when Ollie scored his third goal, or the third goal. I think the last time I attended was before the FA Cup, and I didn't want us to worry too much about the FA Cup, but the economics are such that the US audience gets to see the FA Cup because it was on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Ryan was there, so that I think that increases our US audience. As you can see in today's broadcast, we have our biggest audience, and we did win, and that it gives a sort of a release to the players, and they were not desperate enough in the next 2 home games, and that is totally understandable. It happens with all human beings. And today, after the half, we got that desperation back, the difference between the win and a draw today was 6 points in the table. We would have been 12th on the table if we had lost today, and instead we are 6th on the table, technically 7th,
6
but
places,
6th on the table today. And finally, that desperation that we had during the festive season came back, and the players were, flinging themselves to all corners for the final 5 minutes were absolute chaos. Some good luck on our part because they went to 10 men. So thanks to that player for the foul. But nothing takes it away from the pure strikes by both Windass and O'Brien. And finally, we are back. We have been hovering 8th and below, and today was the bit of magic that we got to finally get over that hump. And now we are, from now to the end of the season, we are in play for that 6th spot, and that's where I think the Wrexham fans are going to have our fun for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be a big finish, certainly. We're getting there, and Sheffield Wednesday are up next, so you can see an easy win there. Can you, Anand?
It's Sheffield Wednesday. Is that the bottom of the table?
Yes.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier that we reserve our best for the top 6 and our worst for the bottom 6. So I wouldn't get, because we have helped 2 teams get off the bottom 6 up till now. So I think we have to still keep our guard and keep having that desperation to keep winning. But yeah, that's a good game to have. Next, we do get the Paramount broadcast here, and I kept it on the Wrexham feed and or the game feed, and I saw Parky happy. So he was really excited in the sidelines after the game was over, and I think. I mean, not many people expected this result.
Mhm.
We played, we played really well in the last 10 minutes, and as usual, for Ollie, the game slows down. And we have one more player for whom the game is slowing down, and that's Windass. So I think we have 2 players who are really in a hot zone now. So hopefully we can ride them for the next few games and keep a good grip on that number 6 spot in the playoffs.
I'm sorry, I have evil, bad thoughts in my head from some of the way you mentioned that there. If you did that on purpose, well done, well played, sir. But I'm sorry, I still trying to recover.
I do see that Windass is not the happiest of campers right now, but that doesn't matter. We want forwards that are mad, and that's okay.
I don't know if he's not the happiest of campers. This is the thing. I think some people read too much into that. And a lot of people are dismissing Windass, and I think it's unfairly. I have always rated Windass, and of course there are periods where it doesn't just work for you, for everybody. But this is part of the benefit of playing a 3 up front, especially when they're all fairly strong, is you don't necessarily have to be on it at all times. There are other people to share the load with. But when it's important, when it's needed, you can step up. And Windass did that today. He took it on himself. He had the ball in front of him, and he said, I'm going to score this. I'm going to pull us back. I'm not going to allow this to happen. And then as soon as he did, it was similar to all his other celebrations. It's right, guys. Quick high fives if you want them, but get up there, and we got time for another goal. No messing around. And people are too harsh on Windass, in my personal opinion. I actually rate him very, very highly. So, and I'm going to throw you in the back there for a second. And if you do want to come back on, just hang out there, and I'll have you back on a little bit, okay? Sure. So, guys, we have Habs in the background. I'll be bringing in just a second. But I'm going to post our link again. So we have got 4 people now for tonight. So far, I would like to break our record. I want loads of people in. And specifically, there's been a lot of chat in the chat about Parky's reaction after the match. If there's anybody who was at the match and has their own viewpoint of what happened there, or even if somebody was paying closer attention to the broadcast and saw Parky's reaction afterwards, because some are saying he was really unhappy and upset. and had a reaction with the players, and others just there seemed to say that he looked quite happy and good with the win. So if you have something specific to add on that, please do come in and join us. So the link is going out in the chat again now. Link to show. There we go. Posted and up the front here as well. Link up there below me. So next up is Habs. Hello, Habs. How you doing?
Yo, what's going on? It's Interpol's most wanted.
Good. Happy about the win, obviously. A few elements not so happy, but I'm going to leave Parky alone at the moment. We've had some positives come up about him just briefly. But what are your major takeaways from the match?
I wouldn't really put this on Parky as much as most people would want to, but
Okay.
But in terms of the entire set, we were just I don't know what it was. We were just a bit slow. They were way up. Let's put it like this: QPR were really up for it today. They wanted to go for it because they knew. I think to a certain degree they knew that they were going to be above us. They were going to be what, 8th? I think 8th or 7th if they beat us. And when they were around that point, and it was, you could tell they were really on it, and it did lead them to get a lot of the fouls that they were getting away with far too much, and they were pressing as hard as they could. We just looked a bit shell-shocked by that for some reason. But as time went on, you could slowly see the first half was just us trying to survive, and then we get into the second half. That's when we started to get our press game coming on, and you could tell the ball was moving around far more smoothly overall. So we was able to get the balls into the dangerous areas to get those shots in, because it wasn't like that in the first half as much.
How did you find the formation and the way we're playing in the first half versus the second? Because Moore was definitely on an island at the start in that first half, and they weren't playing as a flat three. They weren't pressing together. So what did you see?
I noticed that as well. You could tell by Moore he was trying to go forward a lot more, but there was, I don't know what it was. There was something must have been keeping him back. Or maybe it's because they haven't had a flat three of Broadhead, Moore, and O'Brien working together. Maybe that's because there's a level of unfamiliarity. Because sorry. Anyways, maybe it's because of the unfamiliarity of that style, as opposed to, let's say, being Broadhead, Windass, and Moore, or let's say it would have been Rathbone and O'Brien together with Moore or anyone else, or Smith being there. It was just a different way of being played. So there may be some kinks that need to be worked out with that kind of style from up front, and that need to, because it didn't look like it was the same. You didn't see the smoothness that you would have had if it was a different front three. So it was a 2-1 formation. You could tell from the way it was functioning.
But then, do you agree that they actually started pressing in the second half, and it went more flat?
It did start becoming more of a flat three in the second half. It was because they were pressing much harder at that point. Our passing game and our ball carrying improved at that point. They managed to get that lucky goal, but that was just bad defense. That was on our side.
Yeah,
that was just. I don't know how they allowed that goal to go in at that point. And the funny thing out of all this, it's another 3-2 goal. It's another 3-2 match, which we've had before, where we won, where we've gone down and we've come back. We have this weird comeback kid mentality. We go down and we're going to come back as hard as possible. It's not always going to work out like that, but
yeah, it's been a while, certainly since we've had to do that. But what a finish! What a finish!
That still just got my head is still spinning from that. It is. So you had that set piece goal from Windass, and then you just got that screamer from Rathbone, just perfectly timed. It's another one of those goals he does outside the box. It just works out right at the end. It was a Hollywood ending, that was, you could just say, to a match.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sorry, 2 seconds. Okay, guys, I am going to bring the group in. We are going to be all together for this one. So welcome back, boys. You hung in there. Right, so I'm going to start this off with Kabore. So let's dig into just Kabore a little bit. What did you think today? He seemed off it. Yes, he was a bit double-manned, as usual. But he wasn't happy with challenges. He was kind of acting out a little bit today, which is a little bit unusual for him. He's normally more composed.
Yeah,
Mr. Right prick.
Sorry. Okay, James, go first.
No, I'm saying it's how Smith plays. He's a right prick. He's frustrating for anybody that wants to come forward against him. Like he will foul hard. He will ride you. He sits that fine line. That's why everybody was like, "Hey, get him out of there!" Whenever he'd already picked up the yellow card and was still, and that's his style.
Okay.
And for somebody like Kabore, it's frustrating because it doesn't allow him any movement.
Anand, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Kabore was getting double teamed, which indicates a lot of respect from the opposing team, and then another player has to run some extra distance, and you can see that towards the end of the game they were gassed. So it does help in the long run when a winger is getting double teamed. But I think Kabore might have picked up an injury and he doesn't have the same speed that he had 2 months ago, and maybe that's part of the frustration. And any player will pick up their national team duties over club, because that's not only what you want for your country, but also potential for future bigger contracts. So he is going to represent country anytime he's called upon, and we might have to get used to it with AO2 very soon next year. So that is definitely going to happen. So Kabore not being involved a lot was part of the opponent's game plan, and I'm not too worried about what happened with him. I think we'll see better games from him.
Okay, great. Now, guys, I just noticed that we have PDX Geek has thrown in a couple of super chats. We were due a huge upset. How fucking amazing. And then he also threw in a second one. Look at rat bones per 90 on FootMob. So I'm actually going to do that. 2 seconds. Per 90, where is it? Maybe I can't see it here. Hang on. Okay, guys. There's a lot of interference coming in from someone. Whose mic is it? James, is it yours?
Shouldn't be me. I'm quiet. Background, but it's far enough away from me. Y'all shouldn't be picking it up.
Okay, it's okay now at the moment, but it was you. We were picking up something, whatever it was. But let me pull this up here. Let's see if I can find. So here's Ollie Rathbone. Let's try and get through his stats there. Where are his stats? Match stats. 90. Goals. Shooting, passing. Why can't I see it, guys? And James, it does seem like there's still a lot of noise coming in.
All right, I'll kill this fan. Give me a second.
Yeah, that's it.
Was it my fan? Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was still coming through. Okay, I'm not seeing it per 90. Maybe I'm in the wrong spot. Sorry about that. But yeah, we'll talk about Ollie shortly. We'll go back to Ollie. Okay. So Habs, Kabore then. What did you think of Kabore today?
It did look like he was not really used as much. Of course, they were using overloads on him, but the problem was that it didn't look like he was properly integrated back into the squad in the same way that Kakache was. I mean, that's maybe because Kakache came back earlier than Kabore, and he's had an additional month to being out in comparison. So he didn't have enough time to get back in to be able to get the proper integration. And you can kind of tell it's not really, it hasn't clicked back in. It's completely different when we had him at the beginning, and we had him there, and he was getting better and better with the way we were operating. But it didn't look. He still doesn't look like he's back integrated, because the squad is operating completely differently now than it was back then. So that might be why. But he's still doing things that would allow us to not be able to, because he was still integral with our build up as well. That's one thing, because if we couldn't go forward on his side, there were moments where I just think there was this one moment I saw there was a pass. So Brian was right in front of him, and I just think pass it to him. You can get that ball to him quickly to get that pass to. He didn't do that, so he decided to go either. I think it was in the middle. And I just think, okay, we'll build up through there, then we go to the left. But he's still there's still a sense of lack of integration still.
Yeah, I definitely, Kabori does things that you like in a player. You know, he has talents there. But it's the same issue that was earlier in the season, where we were saying he needs to get comfortable with the rest of the team, and also they need to get more comfortable with him and his style. And now, because of the longer layoff, he hasn't really had the opportunity to do that since we switched fully into this new system. So yeah, I think he's not really comfortable with it at the moment, and certainly they're not comfortable with him. I do think for a solid part of that second half, players just stopped playing to him. Now, maybe it was just a bit of poor performance. They decided, look, I'm just not going to pass to him. End of story. But kind of final on this one before we move on to someone else. What do you think for the next match? Would you put on Longman?
Yes,
I would.
I have a question, though, Paddy. Okay, so we all know Kabori is excellent going forward, and he's good going backwards. Would you play him more as an up-front winger, or would you play him strictly in the back as a defense as a right back in a back four?
No, I'm not going to play even a back four. And I'm not going to even discuss the back four, to be honest, at the moment. It's just not relevant. The one thing I will say, though, kind of partly on that point, is I think because he plays more as a winger when he was away, I think he was a little bit lazy in the last match. The last matches when he came back in his defensive duties. I think he almost forgot that he has defensive duties because he was kind of his mindset and his role. Yeah, when he was away. Yeah. I know he only got the final match with them, but if you're training and practicing and being up in a corner of the pitch and you don't have defensive duties, I think it kind of slipped his mind a little bit. And then when he came back, he just wasn't on it. So I've been seeing that a little bit. And I don't think today was an amazing defensive performance, but he seemed to be doing it a lot more than the last two. So Anand, what do you think there on final word on Kabori?
I think we scored our two goals after Longman was in. So there is competition for that spot, definitely. And I think just to rotate, Longman might be in the next game. There was a time when there was a huge gap between Kabori and Longman, but maybe after he has come back, that gap has reduced. So there is a chance for Longman to come in for the next game.
Okay. Yeah. The gap, I see it being a little bit more. Longman has become more comfortable with his role in the championship and what he needs to do. And I think Kabore has maybe pulled back a little bit from the natural talents we saw because he hasn't integrated with the rest of the team in order to use those correctly. He's a little bit more of a solo player. He does cause problems to the other teams, but he's just not integrating with the rest of the team maybe yet.
I'd bring on with a sub, really. That would be the best thing to do for the time being.
Yeah.
Kabore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with that. Bit of speed at the end to kind of get around all those slow players. So Maxiverse here has thrown in $10. He is happy about the win. That was amazing. But we need to ask some questions of Parky. This is not the way to manage a team. I was not happy with the late subs. This won't work like this every time. Absolutely. Big talking point. I will bring this back up again a little bit later when we hit a bit of Parky. Now, people seem to be keeping on a positive note in the chat as well. So I may not dig into Parky too hard tonight. We'll see how it goes. But we have a lot to get through. There's a lot of positives to talk through first. So from the right wing, let's swing over to the left. And Thomason. Mixed bag with Thomason for me today. He did some nice stuff. He went around some players on his own. He got into good positions. He got into danger. But would you have preferred Kakachi on that left? Perhaps.
Yeah.
Did you want me to go first, or did you
Yeah,
want...
go first, Matt. Yeah.
Okay. I would have preferred Kakachi on there, but I think what ended up happening is that as the game went on, we started to press more and more towards the end of the match. Even before the red card was happening, we were starting to press more aggressively. But that's because I think what ended up happening is that what's the best way to put it without it sounding vulgar? They I think they gassed themselves out by going as hard as possible in the first half. And you started noticing that they started leaving more and more space open to us. And they noticed that as soon as we got the first goal, when we got the first goal, more and more space was just opening up for us to be able to get those goals in. And you started noticing we were getting closer and closer to the box every time. Even when they got the second goal, we were still getting into their box every time. And it was just the spaces were opening up for that, because I think they were just they were going as hard as they possibly can, but there were just moments where you could think, okay, we were exploiting the spaces they were opening up. They tried everything they could to try and avoid that, but it was a lot easier for Thomason to start going through that left bank. But the only issue was that they were just a bit faster than us as well.
They were faster, and I was hoping towards the end of the second half that they were going to tire. I was hoping that, and it seemed to happen. But they did do a lot of substitutions. I think their manager was perfectly aware of how tired the players were getting, and he was swapping them off. Now, we may have been lucky a little bit in that maybe they didn't have the quality and depth off their bench because of a lot of their injuries, but they certainly had a bit of speed in them, and we were able to kind of steamroll them right at the very end.
I don't think they subbed their fullback on the side for Thomason, so you could tell that he was getting tired each time.
Yeah.
So they were getting more of the shots when they're trying to get out of their box or out of their area was looking more and more desperate, as opposed to just being more pinpoint accurate as it was in the first half. So it was more like kick it out of the box and try and get it, and make sure that get one of the younger players who are fast are in the area in our box. But it looked like it was more just desperation at that point.
Yeah. And Andy, you still here? Yo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it worked well for us overall. At the end, we did have some luck, and I always believe that to make to the playoffs and to get up in the competition, you need a combination of luck and brilliance. Okay. And we had both of them in equal measure today, with the red card, with the double teaming of Kabore.
And we're kind of talking about Thomason, though.
Yeah, and I think with Thomason, he played a part in our first goal that we gave up. So that did not work well for us. He did play well. I think he had trouble with O'Brien on the other side for a while. It just didn't seem to click well for quite a bit of time. But I think, we have to remember that Thomason is, sort of gone to that position because of our past injuries. So was he playing on the flank today again?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind his play. I think he gives us 100%. He's one of those players who doesn't tire. So I was still impressed with Thomason's performance.
Yeah, I'll always give a little bit of benefit of the doubt to Thomason because he's playing out of position, and it's still a fairly new position to him. So there's always going to be a couple of mistakes here and there. But I think overall he did well, and he seemed to be doing better and better as the match was going. He seemed to pick up. Maybe, as we said, the players around him started slowing down a little bit, so he managed to make the most of it. So I think he had a decent match. Okay, so I'm going to jump to the defense for a minute, and we can talk about the three of them together, just defensively for the moment, and then we'll talk about Doyle up front. What did we think defensively, James, about Scar in the back as well?
Hyam might be our best defender overall, but Doyle is quickly picking up place. Like and it's like everybody was like in the chat during the game, and even the commentator was like, I didn't know he had that in him. And I'm like, why not? He came from Man City. Like everybody on that squad has scoring ability.
Okay, we're not talking about his scoring. I just said defensively.
No, I'm just saying, like, he does his job. He's very ho-hum defensively. He's solid as a rock. You know, like he struggled a little bit early in the season, but now it's like, oh, okay, it's on Doyle's side. I'm not worried about it. Like he's going to shut this down.
Yeah.
You know, the extra that he brings is that scoring threat from the back line that I like. It's the same thing with Max. That's why I like Max over there where Scar was. Or was Scar in the center today, or was that Hyam?
Scar's in the center, yeah. He doesn't play out.
That's why I like Max over there, because Max provides that scoring threat from the back line. Like, that's
okay.
But I just Dan's a good sub. I don't think he needs to be a starter. I understand it seems like Max has picked up a bit of a knock or an injury. Something's going on with him. It's one of those things where it's, okay, we got the January transfer window. Let's bolster. Like everybody's caught up with our boy from France that we're potentially going to get the headliner, but like, give me the depth. Where are we going? Where are we going to improve some of the weaknesses we have? Where are we going to improve at our left wing back? Because Kakachi's already popped a hammy once this year. That's why he didn't play today, in my honest opinion, is because of it being cold and everybody's scared of popping his hammy again.
Your best back three are
Doyle, Hyman, and Max.
Okay, same as mine. That's my preferred back three as well. Okay, Habs, you can say.
Yeah, I can. I usually do, but I did feel Scar was a bit odd in this match. I didn't feel he was effective as he has been in other matches. Like there have been moments where he was okay, but it did feel slower. If you get what I mean, it didn't feel like it had that burst of speed at the back line, because whenever they were going on the break on the transition, it didn't feel like Scar was there, because we were getting to the point where we were on the high line when we had a high line there. When they started to go on the transition, our back three didn't really. I mean, Hyam and Doyle were able to get there as quick as possible, and with Thomason, but less so with Thomason. But I didn't feel it with Scar. He felt like he was just a few steps behind. It didn't feel like he was as effective as a centre half this match.
Okay, so best back three for you?
It would have to be Doyle, Hyam, and Max. But I wonder one thing though.
Yeah.
If Brunt is back on the training pitch, maybe we should reintegrate him back as soon as possible and get him to play in Max's position, or switch him out into Doyle's position.
Oh, into Doyle's position?
Only because Doyle's been playing every match.
So?
Yeah, we don't want to get him having a groin injury as well.
Come on now. If Max can play almost every minute, so can Doyle. Doyle is starting to be one of the best we have. Give him every minute he's able to play at the moment for me.
I get that, but I don't want to make him end up like make him turn into like Lamine Yamal. But his situation with his groin was a bit different. So,
okay, Anand, best back three.
We played well. I think I'm sort of not too keen on a best combo as long as each player does its job at their job at this point. I think Doyle did surprise the entire QPR team with his run because nobody was watching him when he got into the box to score that goal. So it is always good to have that surprise as long as only one of the two defenders make that run forward. I think at this point, Doyle and Cleworth have, sort of cemented their spot, and the rest of the team can be rotated any way Parky needs, the rotation to be done for the back to remain fresh. So I think we have a good mix of players, and I'm not worried about one combination versus another for the defense.
Okay. So Doyle, how good do we think Doyle can be? Like I'm seeing moments of brilliance, and today is obviously the clearest of the signs that he went in and scored that. Max has scored. I don't expect him to score like that.
Yeah, I think Doyle doesn't stay within the Parky's plans all the time. That's my belief. I'm not sure what happens there. I have seen him make runs when it was probably prudent for him to stick back, according to the laws of his position. So we already have a front three. So I think when Doyle makes a run, it surprises the team enormously because the defense is, playing the front three, and that's how even Ollie got his goal. So he's extremely talented, and I think Parky hopefully finds better ways to keep him engaged in the offense. And there is no ceiling to Doyle. I think he's a future Premier League player, and I'm biased towards Kabore too, but hopefully he gets back fully fit from his injury. So Doyle and Kabore are our future Premier League players, either with us or without us.
Okay. I think there was a lack of aggression in the back three today. That's one thing I noticed. There wasn't as like this kind of when we track back to properly defend, there wasn't as a strong level of aggression that we would have had if we had our standard back three that we have.
Yeah, okay. If we had lost today, we would be talking about that first half quite a bit, and we were pretty bad. I think they did need that extra match lit under them by Parky at the halftime to get back to our entire team standard. So as a team, we were struggling in the first half. But they, like you mentioned, the other team was getting tired in the first half, and we got our combination of luck and brilliance in the second half. I don't think the defense is our problem. Parky was having a long conversation with Maddie James when the game ended. So there was something Maddie wasn't happy about. And neither one of them were laughing when that conversation was going on. But Parky was happy once with the coaches were together. And Parky's job, Parky always gets the fourth official fully engaged. That's his job. So I'm not worried about the yellow card.
What was that, Habs?
I think we're derailing the conversation now. We're moving on to one bit to another. I was saying, I thought we could speak on the back line still.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
Right. So on the back three then, is there anything else specific we want to say? We were kind of bigging up Doyle, really.
I think
everybody agrees he's amazing.
I think Doyle can be our first Premier League profit sale.
Yeah, I agree.
I think a lower mid-table Premier League team. Like if not this summer, maybe next January, we'll be looking for Doyle.
Okay, might have a hard time holding on to him.
That's one thing. He's developing now properly in as a centre back. He is. The thing is, he could end up going back to Man City since they're looking for. They're looking kind of thin at the back right now. So
yeah, they've got some kind of ridiculous buyback clause, right?
Yeah, they do have a large buyback clause. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about them wanting to recall because they did recall some people from Watford, if I'm correct. So.
Yeah, and that player scored in their FA Cup, I think. So, yeah, I think there's less need for Doyle to go back to them at the moment. But yeah, in the future, I think it could happen. We'll see.
It could, but he's gonna I think he may want to stay here for a bit with us. So he's going to develop. He's developing years, and he's having proper time to develop here. Less so than when he was at Norwich and so on. But you can tell, you can see the Man City DNA in him. You can just see it. It's just all over it. You can see the Man City all over him. You can just always going forward, passing the ball, interplay with other players, and then getting into. You can see his positional play when he's going forward. You can, and then just getting in that goal in there. That was just that's just Man City all over.
And he constantly talks. Him and Heim and Thompson or Kakache or whoever the midfielder is on that left side, like they're constantly talking. And that's something that Pep preaches forever and a day is communication. Talk.
Okay. Let's move up to the midfielders then. Before we do, I'm going to take a little break and have a look at this. So this is the FOTMob scoring for today's match. We've already said Okonkwo. But you know what? We didn't even speak about Okonkwo. Unless anybody has anything particularly amazing to say, I don't think Okonkwo was fantastic today, but he did a decent job. He was left high and dry with the goal.
He got caught a couple of times today, and I really don't think either one of them were his fault, but he got caught flat-footed twice.
Okay.
I think he was just left on the what's the word? Left to fend for himself. He was most of the time because he was just the defense was just not operating the way it was
supposed to. Yeah. Okay, so FOTMob scored Hyam at 6.6, Max at 6 because of the goals, obviously. Scar 6.5, and then Doyle up at 7.5 with his goal. So that's fairly decent. Then I wanted to talk about James and Sheaf. So James got 7.1 today. Sheaf got 7.2. I think they both did a fairly decent job. But what did we think there with the two of them playing together? Perhaps?
The usual performance that they do. They show what their quality and their experience, especially with James. You could see he was trying to chase some of the players down. He was trying his best, but he was. You could see he was quite angry with some of the players. Like, get into place. You could tell.
Yeah.
He was like he was telling people like Kabora, "Is like, where is he? Where is he?"
Yeah.
He was just screaming. It was like, where is everyone? You could tell he's a proper.
Go ahead, Havs. My bad.
No, I was just going to say, you can tell he's a proper leader, and he should be wearing the captain's armband once in a while. But he has captained for us before anyway. But the thing is that he was pushing himself as much as he can in terms of like trying to get just to organise some of the players on there. But in terms of just his ability to move the ball forward, in the first half you could see it wasn't so good. The second half you could start seeing we were just pushing further forward, and the aggression was picking up after that with both James and Sheaf.
Yeah. Okay.
With Matty today, I would not have wanted to be one of the guys in the locker room. I think Matty James went in there, and yeah, this episode of Welcome to Wrexham is going to have some F-bombs and maybe a couple of MFers, and yeah, it's woo. I'm pretty sure Matty James lit into the guys worse than Parky did. Like, he was hot.
Okay, fair enough. Right, they scored Kabore at 7.3 and Thompson at 7.1. Both decent. I know Kabore didn't do anything amazing, but he was blocked off an awful lot. But his stats obviously look good in order to get a decent score from the FOTMOB guys.
Yeah.
Then that brings us up to our front three. Now, you may disagree with me here. This is going to be an interesting one, okay? I didn't rate O'Brien today. Almost everything he did, he played backwards. He played backwards constantly again and again and again. He's after getting a 7.9, the highest on the team. He didn't get an assist, didn't get a goal. Broadhead got a 7.9, but not a star for some reason. And he got an assist. Or he got the goal, sorry, no assist. He got an assist today. And I don't see it with O'Brien today. I usually like O'Brien. He gets into nice places. Today, I just didn't see it from him. Maybe he was doing the control things that I missed.
I thought he was sloppy in possession.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like you. Like, if he actually kept possession, he played backwards today. Like, I don't get it. If playing backwards and being uber safe and cautious gets you, what is it, a 7-9 and a star, and I guess they're men of the match, then have at it. But that was sloppy to me.
It was his sloppy pass that led to a goal.
Yeah. My man of the match for us is Doyle.
Yeah. A defender scoring a goal, especially one that looks like that, has to be looked on kindly. And he did well in the rest of the match too. So, yeah, tough one not to give him man of the match. Okay, Habs, what about Moore, Broadhead and O'Brien then? What are your main takeaways?
I can understand why people think O'Brien was doing terribly, but he's doing the work that others aren't seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So he was doing a lot of pressing, he was as well. And he was constantly trying to get the ball back from others. So he was constantly going after the players who were getting the ball. He was winning balls back from opposition multiple times. And yeah, he was passing the ball back, but that's only because he was trying to, you could tell whenever the opposition were sitting deep, you have to go back, try and find space again, look around and get the pass. And he passes the ball to others. He connects the passes to others. And if the ball goes out to the opposition, he's the one who's constantly chasing after the others as well to try and win the ball back. So he was doing a lot of the work. He was doing the dirty work. That's what people weren't seeing. He was doing the dirty work that needed to be done to get the ball back and then do the linking as well, to the link up play with others. I think that's what people missed out. He was doing the dirty work.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Broadhead was covering a lot defensively, which wasn't allowing him to get as forward as he wanted to in that first half. Like, I hated that he was the first guy subbed off. Like, that just Broad.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of had to, because he played up to like 70 minutes. They brought Rathbone on so that you kind of got to save him in terms of, you want to avoid him getting injured as well, because he's a quality player.
Yeah.
But he's able to find those spaces, but he wasn't able to get the problem I had today is that he wasn't playing clean today either. There was a lot of sloppiness in terms of him getting the ball.
Well, also a lot of indecisive. Once we did actually get into into their our attacking third, like, he was very indecisive. Whereas when Windass came on, it was, all right, ball's at my feet, bang, let me hit this at the net and see what happens. And and sometimes it's just as simple as that, and stop overthinking things.
Yeah.
I think that's contextually different, because he came on near the end as well.
Yeah.
And he bought into they had 10 men, and he was like, okay, we got this set piece that we have to get. He scored the set piece goal, so it just gave us that boost that we needed.
Well, I'm talking. I mean, even before the one he scored, like it's just we've seen it in other games. Like when he's come off the bench, Windass just balls at his feet and he hits it towards the goal. Because when in doubt, just put the ball in play.
Yeah. Interesting.
But for Moore, there's one thing I want to say about Moore. He was kind of. There were moments where we got balls to him as well, and he just didn't get them. Like there was a ball that was passed forward to him. He was in the box. It would have been perfect for him to just get that shot off, and he didn't get it. There were moments like that. I just think, oh, Moore, why did you do that? Or when he got the ball, he didn't really get it into the right positions, or he wasn't in the right area. He was just kind of
taking up a space today.
Yeah. Okay. I can see a bit of that. But Moore is not a perfect player, right? We should know that. He was released because they didn't want him. He wasn't playing different progressive types of football, blah, 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 etc. He works within our system. He works extremely hard. You can see how hard he's working. But for him especially, it really depends on the service he gets. And he's not going to be able to make goals out of every single half-decent chance he gets. So maybe in some cases we're asking too much of him, but this is why I like the front three. We don't need all three to be firing in every single match. And ultimately today, it was Windass's turn. You know, he got the goals, he got the firepower, he got it done today. And there's other matches where he's kind of disappeared a little bit and you can't really see what he's doing. So it happens to them all. And I don't mind it so much. I still rate Moore heavily. And especially, we mentioned it earlier about the pressing. He was the one from the very start that wanted to have the three-man press to be playing, but we weren't playing it early enough. And as soon as we got it together, that changed the dynamic of the match. Once we got that press working and it was more pushing it, then things started to click and we had much more dominance.
Well, one of the reasons why I prefer Sam Smith right now over Moore, one, age, two, weather, because believe it or not, when you hit a certain age, it gets cold, them bones start aching. Trust me, I know, I'm dealing with it right now. But on top of that, Sam Smith, like his running, like he's not just a hold-up player or a target man. Like he can run the channels, he can hold up play. He's got a decent target man game in his repertoire. Like, and then bring on that big donkey at 70 minutes and let him, you know, because now the defensive back line's tired and now you got to jump with a 6'5" guy that's fresh. Great. This is going to be fucking fun.
Okay. That's it. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
The thing is, though, the front three works differently with different players that we have. So, I mean, Sam Smith works better when we have Rathbone and O'Brien together.
Yeah.
So you've got two hamsters next to this guy, and he stretches the defense significantly. He does. His style is so much more different to Moore's. Moore's is more. He's a fox in the box, whilst Sam is more like a classic number 9. He stretches the defense. You get him there. What he does is that, I mean, let's say for example, or some of the goals that he scored multiple times in League One and in the Championship is that, and it usually works well when we've got Matty James with him as well. Is that if you get him into those spaces, he will be running after those balls, and the defense is going to be completely stretched, and so it leaves so much space open for him to do a 1v1, and gives him the opportunity for it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of the reasons why I like Sam Smith over Moore right now. He provides more attacking options differently. It's like I'm saying, and it's one of the reasons why if we bring in our Frenchman, I'm going to absolutely love it once he gets up to speed, because he does exactly what Sam Smith does. He provides different attacking options. He's not just a big old target man.
Okay.
I think this match was much more suited for Smith. I think this would have been.
It's an interesting argument. We had that discussion earlier in the week with myself and John and a few others. We were talking about this, and John's take was actually the big target man suited this match better. So different opinions on different ways of playing it. But leaving that aside for now, this is a question I wanted to bring up from Gemler. Nope, sorry, wrong one. Hang on, that's the wrong one. This one. From Ben Lingen. Windass, Broadhead, and Smith are the most dangerous attacking three we have. Do you agree with this or not?
No.
We have two different. We've got two different attacking threes. We do.
Okay, which is the strongest?
Which is the strongest? That depends on the match. That depends on the opponent we go up against.
Okay. So you're going to hedge your bets.
It depends on.
If I tell you have to play them in every single match, who are you picking?
I would go with those three then, yeah.
Okay.
I'd drop Windass and bring in Ollie.
In every single match.
I like Josh coming off the bench late. I love him coming off the bench late.
Okay. Right, let's do it. We're at an hour 10, guys. Here we go. Boom. We got our little explicit warning. Let's go into our stars. Let's go back here now. Let's bring it up first. Hang on.
I'm not going to swear, so I'm going to say anything vulgar.
Okay, I am happy about the win. That was amazing, but we need to ask some questions of Parky. This is not the way to manage a team. I was not happy about the late subs. This will not work like this every time. So I was raging, absolutely raging at Parky. I said it in Josh's chat, and Josh put it up as well. I have never been against Parky. I've been a defender of him for the longest time. And my comment was, oh my God, I think I might be Parky out. Or something to that effect. Anyway, that was the gist of it. The last couple of matches, I'm like, what on earth is he doing with his substitutions? I don't get it. And throw at me or anybody else all you want, but it's a silly thing to do. So you're not a manager, you're not a coach, you don't know what you're doing. Fine. But then nobody has any conversation about anything. So everybody's entitled to their opinion. And my uneducated opinion is, what the hell is he doing? This is ridiculous, like at this stage now.
He's a defensive coach, and so he's always going to wait for the opposing team to make their adjustments, and then he's going to try to counter versus being proactive of, all right, now I'm going to put the boot to your ass.
Okay, but I'm gonna argue that straight away, and I'm gonna say, but he does nothing different. He doesn't change his tactics when he puts people on, depending on what the other team does. So
he was absolutely forced to today. I mean, they went down 10 men, but he went to a back four.
Okay, but that's kitchen sink. Now this is not real tactics. This is kitchen sink. All your attacking players on, hope someone gets on the ball. That's all it was today.
Yeah,
there's nothing smart.
A wing and a prayer, and and I think even being proactive on his subbing, regardless of whether he changes tactics or not, but making them counter you is a lot more than you countering them, because you're letting them dictate things. Mm-hmm. The opposing manager, and it's no. Come off at halftime. Mm-hmm. If you're not trusting Kabore, pull Kabore off and put on Longman. If you think our midfield's playing slow and sloppy, yank O'Brien off and put Ollie on at halftime. If you think Moore's out of gas or he's not doing his job, you yank his ass off at halftime and you put on Smith. You put a jolt in not only our team's ass, but then you make their manager go, well, shit, now I've got to counter this because this is not like... What are they going to do? And then you don't sit back and play park the bus counterattack defense. You press and you make them play defense. I don't get me wrong. I am a West Ham fan. That is my home, my family club. Like, I started following Wrexham because of the documentary. I freely have admitted that. But I've watched counterattacking football at West Ham forever. Even David Moyes presses and forces teams to defend every once in a blue moon. I said it at 60 minutes in the game thread? Y'all are underestimating how fucking stubborn Phil Parkinson is.
Okay, hold it there for a sec. I'll bring you in a second. So there's a couple of comments here I want to bring up. I find quite funny. Webby, welcome back. He's a Birmingham fan, for anyone who didn't know this. Can't believe you guys are sixth. I could actually be watching Wrexham on Match of the Day next season.
Did they get Stoke, or did Stoke get them?
Okay. Maxiverse is saying that was a Hail Mary, which it was. Okay, Simon Evans, here we go. With all due respect, Parky out, do you know nothing about football? Maybe
American
I know
football,
absolutely
yes.
nothing about football. But as I said, look, I kind of made it as a half joke, right? When I put up, I might be Parky out, but I'm sorry. The way he is substituting is ridiculous. The team is pulling Parky's ass out of the fire again and again and again. It is the quality of the players and how they fight for the badge. Now, you can give that and say that that's because of Parky. That's because of the way he's put the team together and all of this. That's one thing, right? But come on, the amount of points we have dropped, the way he goes defensive and sits there. He was comfortable with a 1 point tonight. He was willing to let that sit at 1 point. He was happy to slide into a win with Leicester last week, and he was so timid to bring on fresh legs to keep the win that he decided it's like he was worried that he was going to jinx it. I can't put someone on. We're winning against Leicester. We're beating them. Like, no, we have proved that all the players we have at the moment are now championship quality. We were worrying at the start of the season about certain players, and almost to a man, they have stepped up and they're capable of playing this championship level. Okay, slightly to some degrees than others, that's fine, but they are good championship quality team. And again, he just will not change anything and is so bloody defensive. So I don't want him gone today or tomorrow or anything like that. But I am getting much closer to the camp that if we get to the playoffs and don't go through to the Premier League
at the end of the season,
new manager in the summer.
Yep.
I'm starting to think that now, because people have said this again and again and again about Parky, that these are the things he's not going to change. These are problems with Parky, right? And in some respects, people have been calling it for ages that he's actually holding back the team. The teams have been amazing. He's been given amazing players, but now he has very good players, not top players. He's doing a lot with them. But could other managers do better? I'm starting to think so. I am honestly starting to think so. So it's interesting, and I've put it out there. I'm not Parky out. I do think he absolutely deserves everything he's getting. He deserves the shot.
Yes.
For all his flaws, he deserves the shot. But God, I'm going to call it out when I see it. I'm sorry.
Yep. If we don't stop dropping points at this point, I'm of the opinion, give him his statue when you open up the cop. Have a good day, Parky. God bless you. We love you. Here's retirement. Enjoy it, because he's not going to go anywhere else and get the kind of backing and patient fan base, both locally and internationally, that he has gotten here at Wrexham. Like, once he leaves this job, I think that's it for Phil. And I think, I think if this type of stuff keeps happening, I'll put it this way. I'll make a caveat. If we don't spin in the transfer window here in the next few days before it closes, I'll be fine with just surviving in the championship and giving Parky another summer to build. But if we spend money, like we're looking to be spending some money this January, and it's the same shit, it's time for Ryan, Rob, Sean, the Allens and Apollo, whoever they have as their Apollo representative, to have a meeting and go, can Parky take us further forward, or has he run his course? And do we build him a statue and let him go out with his head held high?
There's an interesting thing that has been thrown at Parky for a long time, and it's somewhat fair, but I've enjoyed it for the kind of, I suppose, the wrong reasons, maybe. But people have always said Parky's going nowhere because no other team wants him. No other team wants him. They do not rate him.
Not at this level.
And I have kind of reveled in that, thinking to myself, yeah, it's brilliant because we know no one's going to steal him away from us. But there's reasons. There is some reasons behind it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Habs, you've been very quiet. Do you completely disagree with everything we just said?
I disagree to a certain extent.
Okay, go for it. Go on.
This is one match. Now, I understand this has been a consistent issue for most of the season, in him being late with his subs as well, and it has been a certain pattern that we've noticed. But he is the kind of manager that can get us over the line. Let's just take this match for one thing. It is that moment where we just, with that explosive amount of emotion, overcomes us, and we just think, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" When just a few matches ago, we were up against a Premier League club, and we went forward the entire time, and he did subs then, and we beat them most of the time. Well, we were fighting the entire time. So,
to be fair, Force fans are still ranting and raving about that game. Like, I've seen it on X all week, especially since the transfer. Like, yeah, they're losing it. There's been one guy on there that's he is having a mare. Like, he's been arguing with a Wrexham fan that's local on X since, Wednesday when that news broke? Like, he keeps pointing things out, and the guy brings up reasonable. Like, and you have fans from other clubs going, dude, what is your issue with Wrexham? Like, Force cannot get past the. Like, yeah, that whole Premier League club with Forest and Wolves and even my Hammers, like, that don't fly with the way those clubs have been playing at the bottom of the Premier League table. And then the top, I'd say 8 in the championship. Like, I think it's top 8 versus the bottom 5. It would be a dogfight. So, yeah.
Okay. Right. Habs, you bring up an interesting point there, and I want you to kind of elaborate on a little bit. I do kind of see your point with regards the FA Cup match.
It wasn't just the FA Cup match; it was the previous match.
I know, but just let me bring my point, and you can elaborate all you want. During the FA Cup match, it was essentially, like, it is essentially a one-off match. You have to win it, or you go to penalties, and it gets finished. So there is no league system to consider. There is no looking for a draw unless your tactic is, we're a really weak team, we want to draw, we want to chance it in penalties. But very few people actually kind of try that method. We didn't. So we go attack, and we go full out attack. So that's what people are hoping happens in the league. But is it wrong? Are Parky's tactics right? That 1 point away, 3 points at home, that's the average you're looking for, and over multiple matches it does not matter. I'll play defensively when I think it's right, and I'll play conservatively when I think I can get the points. Is that fair?
He does have that kind of pattern where it exists, but let's remember as well, contextually, the entire season, I look at it in terms of every 3 months. I do, in terms of the way we play. We have not played consistently the same way that we've done at the beginning of the season, and as to where we are right now, we've only really switched to this more attacking side very recently. It's still fresh in our minds that we have to remember. He made good subs when we went up against Sheffield United. He made good subs when he went up against Derby or Blackburn or others. I mean, he even had good subs in Norwich as well, and he made some good subs even in the Leicester match. Now, some would say that he didn't do enough for those subs, but it was a triple header match that we were doing as well. So it was a three match week, and you've got to rotate the players that you've got to make sure they survive into the next match. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with broken players at that point. And again, we had that match with Norwich before we had the match against not Norwich with Forest before we went up against Norwich. It's a big match, and it does have an effect on the players as well. So yeah, it's not going to be perfect. We're not going to, but then again, we're not the only ones that have this kind of complaints. I mean, every manager throughout the league, and I've seen it. I just went onto the QPR, was it the QPR X account? People were saying the same thing about the manager there. Why didn't you sub earlier? Why didn't you sub earlier? Why didn't you get this sub on? It's the same complaints everywhere with this kind of thing.
They subbed at a reasonable time, right around 60, 65 minutes when they started subbing.
Yeah, but he's not the only one as well. And when they did their subs, they were trying to push the game further forward because they were trying to be as desperate as possible because they just went 1-0 down. But for us, we of course we will hold a lot longer. But again, I think he's just trying to find the most was it the best time to really get those subs on. Now I agree, he does leave them too late.
Yeah,
for a lot of the matches. But
I think that's most fans' biggest gripe is he waits till 70 some odd minutes in that. Like if you bring him on at 60 minutes in that, like that gives him just a little bit more time to gel and pick up pace in that versus having to go helter skelter the last 15 minutes of the match. You know, it gives them an extra 15 minutes to actually, you know, make something happen where it's not so damn chaotic at the end of the match.
But again, here's the thing: he subbed perfectly fine in the Coventry match. He subbed perfectly fine in the Bristol match. He subbed perfectly fine in the Sheffield United match. He subbed perfectly fine when we went up against Blackburn. The same in Derby. The same in every other one of these matches that we won as well. Are we gonna just say Parky out then? He set up the team properly. We were pressing the entire time, and we had the perfect subs for this.
Well, here's the thing, Habs. I don't think it's so much as Parky out as much as has Parky ran his race. And I think a lot of people are starting to think Parky has ran his race.
Well, we don't know. We've only just gotten to the championship. Here's the thing, right? Yes, we have quality players that are able to go on the attack and press hard and do this, but we have also taken into consideration that comes with risks of us conceding goals. That's what that comes with that as well. And one of these goals is either going to be really crappy goals, or we lose it to someone who goes on the break and goes on the transition. We've had those situations. It happened to us when we went up against Sheffield Wednesday. Are we going to say Parky out because of that? No, it's because we have McLean. Why do we still have McLean on at the time? We had this on against Swansea. We did some subs then, but we switched out the problem that was there in the Swansea match. And when we went up against Sheffield Wednesday the week after, we destroyed them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're never going to hear no argument from me as far as like getting some younger, fresher legs in this squad. But that's not Parky. Parky likes having an older veteran team. But it's just for the health of the club, we've got to get younger, fresher legs, because if you're going to wait till the 80th minute to sub these guys off, you don't need a 33-year-old Kiefer Moore whose legs are dead. You don't need a Matty James who's, you know, this is his third game where he's getting subbed off at 80 minutes, and oh God, his back is seizing up 2 days later, and he's going to miss the match. Like, you don't need that. And if you're going to have Matty James do that, like, you've got to have some young legs coming on, and not a 20-something who, as highest, you know, in his career, as highest is the top end of League One, the bottom end of the championship. Like, you know, thankfully, Ollie Rathbone is showing up and being the dragon of the year, you know, but it's just, if we didn't have Wally, where would we be at this year? Think about that.
The problem with that, the thing you're saying there is that it's the expectation of saying that we have the players to be able to rotate. We don't have 2 players per position for said things. You have to remember, we compiled this squad, especially the new squad that we had during the summer. This is a completely, this is not just a new squad. This is a completely new system that we're playing, which we were just started to use recently, and we don't have like proper replacements for the players there. I can understand you want to put someone with fresher legs on there, but who else do we have?
No. I get what you're saying, Habs. But my thing is the age profile needs to start dropping on what is being looked at in the transfer profile transfer market. That's why I like the fact that it looks like we're going after this kid in France. It's why I like the potential of like going after somebody lower down in Manchester City or Liverpool or Bournemouth, or like start going after their bench players or their squad players that are younger and fresher and are hungry and want to prove.
But we did try to go after one of their players.
Don't know what happened. Habs, just you're back out there. You're dropping out.
Can't score.
Yeah, you're definitely having issues, Habs. Yeah, it's coming in and out.
Getting some call on this. One moment there.
Okay, guys, I don't want to go too crazy into the Parky stuff. I think we've covered it fairly.
Yeah, no.
Hello there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you dropped.
Sorry, I was. Yeah. Sorry about that. What I was saying, I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, we were going after players like that from Liverpool, like Luis Comas. Like we were trying to go after him. He went off to Birmingham. Now he can't even. He doesn't know what to do. He can't run. He needs to get advice directly from Chris Davis to try and tell him to run down the byline. I mean, like he doesn't know how to function as a winger or a right back or whatever the hell he's trying to play as anyway. But the thing is that we are going after those players, but we needed proven championship players in this league to be able to play. And some of them are going to be older and some of them are going to be younger. We've got Kiefer Moore because that is something that Parky likes. He likes a classic big target man up front. Yeah. That's something he's going to do. There's something else that we've known this from the very beginning. He likes that. And it is a good tactic to have when you have a big number 9 at the front. But we also know that we needed to get other players as well. I mean, look at Windass. We all praise him as well. But he's 33. He's like 31, 32, 33. He is a proven championship player, but we needed that kind of player to be able to get on that stepping stone so that we can take the next step. We're not quite ready yet. We've only just come into here. And let's remember, the championship is the hardest second division on the planet.
Yeah. Well, and that's
we could have lost this, and we could have lost every one of our other matches prior to this. It's not an easy league. Everyone can beat everyone. We don't have the advantages that we had in the previous leagues.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's also one of the reasons why I'm so happy. It looks like we're starting to look towards Europe, because you've got young guys over there that, are first team guys that would be squad depth here that, hey, we're trying to give you a chance to, catch up to the speed of the game here in England, in the English system. And here's the step below the Premier League. If we do what we're supposed to do in that and you do what you're supposed to do, we're going to be up there here relatively shortly. Or you can go to Crystal Palace and sit on the bench and maybe play in the FA Cup.
Here's the thing. Sorry, go ahead.
But I'm just saying that's one of the things. That's why I've been begging since last summer to start looking towards Europe for younger guys that are first team players, but are eventually going to want to move to the Premier League, and it's, hey, we give you a chance to, either be first team player or squad team player on an ascending club, and a chance to, be here for the foreseeable future for, a good while, and get to that level. And then not only does it help their career out, it helps the club out, because we can potentially sell these guys on for 40, 50, 60 million, because we don't have an academy that is a Category 1 academy right now.
We're Category 3 right now. Yeah.
Other clubs in Europe and South America and that are going to have to be our academy. And we're going to have to pay through the teeth to bring some of these guys in. But we're going to have to start doing that. Otherwise, we're just going to have a 27 to 33, that range guys on the team. And that's not healthy long-term for the club.
Okay, but hang on. It's always been said by Mike Williamson that he's pushing the age profile down. It's going to happen over time.
We went from, what was it last year, 32 down to 27 this year. Like, they have dropped it, but I think the sweet spot is 24 to 26 for a championship / Premier League team. That's the sweet spot as far as the age range.
Yeah, okay, but the problem is the timeline. If you are going to restrict your timelines to, we really want this to happen in 2 years, you're not going to be able to bring in 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds at the number that you're looking for to bring that number down. Ultimately, it's just a number. It doesn't really matter. They're going to bring in players of an older age range who can do the job, because they don't want to risk it with younger players. But the signs are there now. If they are actually going for a 19-year-old and paying significant money so that we have him for 2.5 free seasons, that's what you want. In the more long term, and we're getting there.
We should also consider even the top divisions of other European leagues, their first divisions. The level of physicality and intensity is not the same as the Championship or even the Premier League. Yeah. It's nowhere near. The physicality level is nothing like that of the Championship or even the Premier League. Like, if you go to Spain, right? The best you're going to find in terms of the most physical team there would be Getafe, and they regularly get red cards all the time. Pretty much everyone almost gets a red card if you play as Getafe. But that's the way they play. They play like this mid block, and they're going to tackle you, and they'll make the game as painful as possible to you. But other than those kinds of teams that would either play a low block or a mid block and be as physical as possible, or be even aggressive towards you in terms of the way we play here in England, it's nothing like that. Or in Britain in general. Like, it's the same in Scotland as well with the SPL and the Scottish Championship. They play aggressive as well as physical matches. It's the same in England, and that's the style we play. We play a very aggressive and very physical style of game. And they don't do that in Ligue 1. They don't do this in Serie A. They don't do it in La Liga, and they don't. And the only thing that's closest to that would probably be the Bundesliga, but but they don't do that in the Eredivisie. I mean, in the Eredivisie and the Liga are very much closer to each other with the way and style they play. It's very tiki-taka. It's very clean, the style of play they do. In France, they do a lot of dribbling, and you see these players move around like this, swift. And in Serie A, they're very defensive. But if you bring them here to the UK and you get them to play our style, you're gonna just run into people who are just gonna try and take out your legs in front of you, and then just throw you into the byline.
Yeah,
just like we had Thomason have happen earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Good points. But every team has this problem. You either stay with British and you go to the bottom end of the Premier League, you pay through the nose, or you try and get a discount out in Europe and you take the potential negatives that may come from that, and that's fine. It's kind of why I like the look of Siddiqui Sharif when I look at him, because he looks like he's comfortable being physical with players around him. There is in a lot of his highlight videos, he's pushing up against players. He is comfortable with them right on his shoulder, trying to put him off balance. So it's still different. I still agree that it's stronger and harder here in the Championship, but he looks like a physical player who may get comfortable with that.
He does, but here's the thing: there are so many prospects that have come from Europe that who were bought by Premier League clubs, and they're like, okay, you're not quite ready to play in the Premier League. We're going to send you down to the Championship, and they loan them out to a Championship club, and they struggle and they fail. There are so many European prospects that have failed in the Championship, and they can't prove themselves in the Premier League either, and they end up being loaned out to somewhere else. It's very common.
Okay, but we've kind of gotten a little bit off topic now. This has nothing to do with tonight's match, really. But interesting points. We do need to get some players in. Transfers are happening. And guys, there has been a lot of talk and whispers coming out tonight. And the whispers are that Jan Valeri has been seen around the club tonight. That he was there at the grounds. So there has been a lot of talk that we're taking Sheffield Wednesday's Jan Valeri. He can play lots of positions, centre mid, defensive mid, centre back, but also plays out on the right, right mid, right wing back, and right back. So it looks like there may be a bit of fire with this smoke that we were after him to back up on this right-hand side.
Was he in London or was he in Wrexham?
Wrexham.
Oh, okay. And when you said around the club, I was like, hold on, was he there in London watching the game, or was he in... Woo! I was going to say, if he's in London watching the game, that's in the bags.
He's been up around the club, so maybe finishing up deals and media and whatever, who knows. But there are rumours he's been seen. So he could be our very first signing, and that may be coming out tomorrow or Monday, probably Monday.
I do feel sorry for
tomorrow morning because on beIN Sport we get linked and if Sadiqi's team doesn't have him in the squad or maybe even on the bench, I'm pretty sure that means he's gone. So, but if he's subbing, he may still be gone if he's a sub because he's been their normal striker since late October.
Okay, so keep an eye on that tomorrow. So
that's going to be interesting. But I do feel sorry for Wednesday for this as well. But it's going to happen to you guys. You kind of
I absolutely hate it for them, man.
There's big problems for Wednesdays. They're losing their whole team this window. Everybody's been sold off. So I don't know what's happening with their club and this sale. It's all there.
I absolutely hate this for those people, man. God bless you folks from Wednesday, if any of y'all are in here. Because of, oh man, I hate it for them.
Okay. No more of that. We're playing them next. We want our 3 points. I'm not having this kumbaya.
I want the 3
Let's
points.
wear our gold shirts and sing happy thoughts for Sheffield Wednesday.
Of course, but I feel sorry for him right now. For now, I want to feel sorry for him.
No more sorries from anybody. Nobody. Stop it. Right.
On the day, I want to destroy them. I want to show them no mercy, and I want to put them to the sword. I want to get 10-0 out of them.
Okay. Right, guys. On that bombshell, I think that'll do it for tonight. This has been a really good episode. We did talk about Parky, but I don't think we went in too heavy on it because, to be honest, my thoughts are not that heavy, but there are some issues for the future. But we will worry about that a different day because today we took our 3 points. Today we are in the playoffs for the first time, and we just need to stay there now and keep pushing for the rest of the season.
Get in the Discord. We have some fun conversations.
Yeah, I waffle a bit on there.
Okay, so the graphic I had on the pre-game show tonight said we have 18 matches remaining and we have 30 points that we need minimum to get into the playoffs. That has now changed. We have 17 matches remaining. We have 27 points left minimum to keep ourselves in the playoffs for the end of the season. So on that bombshell, guys, we are out of here. Take care and catch you next time.
See you in a bit, guys.
Bye.
Later.